Good afternoon and welcome to the Peace Circle. I'm Gina. I'm a practitioner here in sunny Rhode Island, and it is a beautiful day here as spring has sprung and it has been absolutely beautiful. And I am here tonight on the Peace Circle where we come together to be the change we wish to see in the world. And what does that look like? And that's what I talk about all the time on both this and my other show, which is The Joys and the Journey. How do we get there? A lot of what we hear sounds wonderful, but how do we become that change we wish to see in the world? What does it look like? What does it feel like? What does it mean? The Peace Circle, of course, who wouldn't want inner peace? Who wouldn't want world peace? Of course we want that. We want that as our experience, but we don't always know how to get there. So this is where we come together to be that change, to talk about what does it mean to be peaceful, so that what I have, the vibration that I'm living at, is contributing to the peace that I want to see and experience in the world. So I must be that inwardly to be able to participate in making it better outwardly. And we do that through music, and we do that through message, and we do it in a loving way that comes through to remind ourselves of who we truly are. I always begin the Peace Circle with I Too Have a Dream, which is a poem that I wrote that I believe completely says what this is all about. I too have a dream, and in my dream, we all are equal. Not color, religion, nor income defines who we are. Neither country nor region defines us as kin, whether 2 legs or 4, plant or animal. We were all created of the one Creator, with no greater claim to this beautiful earth. In my dream, we are all one, treating each other with love and respect, and living in peace. We are all truly awake, knowing our purpose to share love and joy and uplift each other. In doing so, uplift ourselves. In my dream, we each remember and appreciate each other and truly understand that all is well. And it is well. Sometimes it doesn't feel it. Sometimes I can't see it. Sometimes it doesn't seem like I'm experiencing it. But it is. There's something greater that is pointing me and each one to that truth, that allness, that oneness. So tonight's topic is authenticity. And all of these topics that we take every week, the point is to help us understand ourselves better. And I truly believe that you cannot be at peace till you find peace with your peace. So we are all perfect beings. We are all created of the one Creator, individualized expressions. No 2 people are alike in any way. There may be similarities, but there's always differences. It's not just about how we look or how we act. It's what our gifts are, what our skills are, what we're here for purpose. Each person is an individualized gem, just like a puzzle. And without each one, there is no peace. There is no puzzle. The world needs you to be you. It doesn't need you to look differently. It doesn't need you to act differently. It needs you to be you because there is only one of you. So as you listen to this song that we're going to play, I invite you to be in this space of understanding that. Be in this loving place of knowing who and whose you are. This song is actually our beloved, our host from several other shows, Laura Topper, who her group Infinity is absolutely beautiful. Her and Jason, this is her song. And do you know?
Do you know how beautiful you are? Can you feel the power that you hold? Do you see the light within your heart? Always there for you to have and hold. Have you found the truth in all that is? Will you hold the hand that leads the way? Do you look inside to wake your dreams? Knowing God is everywhere and more. You are the power, it's all inside of you. As you connect within and clear the way, that's all you need to do. That I am. I can hear the voice within my soul, knowing I am God and God is me. I now see the beauty of it all. I am the power, it's all inside of me. As I say my prayers and love each day, my light shines back at me. You have it all, it's there in you. I have it all, it's here in me. I know that you can find the way. You can open your heart today. Right now's the time to realize the love we have within our hearts. Just look inside to know the way. You know the way. We are the power. We have it all as one. We can live each day in love and truth, knowing we are free. We are the power. We have it all, it's true. As we close our eyes and realize love comes shining through. As we close our eyes and realize that's all we have to do.
So that was Laura Topper with Jason. And you know, Do You Know is the name of that song. And it's beautiful because that power is inside of you. And in Science of Mind, in New Thought, we know that. We know that that power, that love, that allness of the universe is living and breathing as each individualized expression. But do we live that way? To know something and to act upon it are two different things. We live in a society that teaches us to conform. And I love this quote from Maya Angelou. She said, "If you're always trying to be normal, you'll never know how amazing you can be." You don't need to be normal. It's about being you, being who you were authentically put here to be. And this is my favorite Ernest Holmes book, this thing called You. And to me, this is a love letter from spirit. And on page 9, he says, life is incarnated in you, operating through you this moment. This is the gift of life. This is the Son forever begotten in the bosom of the Father. But you are an individual, like all other individuals, gradually awakening to the greater possibility. If life made you of itself, which it most certainly did, and if you are an individual just a little different from all other individuals who ever lived, then life not only created you as an independent being, but it also implanted a unique something within you. It'll never be duplicated. The spirit that accompanies you through your life is just a little different from the spirit of any other person. Not different in that it is isolated, because all are rooted in one being, but different in that it is individual. There is only one you. I love thinking of that almost like a character in the book. If you never read the book, you're never going to know. But if you don't turn the pages, you never learn what the character's really about. You know, we have these anti-heroes, and I love that. There's those characters that we love to hate. But usually there's a reason that they are the way that they are. Everything about us is because of what we've lived through. But who we are never changes. Who and what we are never changes, regardless of. There is a spark within us that is untouchable by anything in human terms, beyond comprehension. It is that power, that light, that love. And the world needs that. Needs your talents, needs your courage and strength. It needs you to be you. And as I was going through this, I'll tell you, I loved the topic. I couldn't word exactly what it is I wanted to say, so I had asked a friend of mine, and that word authenticity kept showing up. And it's such a powerful word. It's about being who you really are, without pretenses, without the BS of life sometimes. It's really being who you are. And it's allowing yourself to be in that place of vulnerability. And I love Brene Brown. She talks about that often. She says, authenticity is not something we have or don't have. It's a practice, a conscious choice of how we want to live. Authenticity is a collection of choices that we have to make every day. It's about the choice to show up and be real, the choice to be honest, the choice to let our true selves be seen. Are you letting your true self be seen? Do you even know who you really are and what you really want? I believe that disease is dis-ease, that there's a breaking point somewhere along the line, that we could, that we miss some of the signs along the way. Oftentimes the happiest societies are the simplest societies, and oftentimes, there's a reason. And that is simplicity. It is who they are. They don't pretend to be like everybody else. It's giving ourselves that permission to live in that authenticity. And I invite you to ask yourself that question. Are you living authentically? And what does it look like? What would it look like for you? As you listen to this song, I invite you to think about that. What does authenticity feel like? It's not your role in life. It's not your job or society. It's not what they think of what your family of origin of thinks. It's not what people expect of you. Who are you really? Is that soul within you, that passion? It's what your best friend loves about you. It's what your mate chose you for. It's that spark of life within you. So I invite you to really ask that question. Am I letting myself be my authentic self? Are you living in that full vibrance of life? Are you allowing yourself? So in this song, I give myself permission. I invite you to do just that. Give yourself permission.
Permission. I give myself. I give myself permission. I give myself. I give myself permission. I give myself. I give myself permission to be all I can be. I give myself permission to live passionate and free. I give myself permission to be all I can be. I give myself permission to live passionate and free. I give myself permission to be all I can be. I give myself permission to live passionate and free.
Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It is not just in some of us, it is in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others.
I give myself permission to live passionate and free. I give myself permission. I will to be all I can be. I give myself permission to live passionate and free. I give myself permission to be all I can be. I give myself permission to live passionate and free. I give myself permission to be all I can be. Give myself permission to live passionate and free. I give myself permission to be all I can be. I give myself permission to live passionate and free.
So give yourself permission to live passionate and free, to be in that space of your best life. What is it that you've always wanted to do? What is in your heart to do? The latest thing that I've been called to do is paint. I've never painted, maybe in high school, but it's just something that I feel called to do. So I'm going to try it. I got some paints and I will spend some time. And, I have a very creative side that when I do that, I feel like a kid. What makes you feel like a kid? Right now I do beads, I make bracelets, I do all kinds of bracelets and earrings and those type of things. And that takes me out of everyday life. It allows me to be creative in a new way. What makes you feel creative? What makes you feel like you're doing something new, vibrant? What brings you to life? That's part of who you are, and that's part of what the world needs of you in this world. I loved this. I'm going to play for you. It was from YouTube, and it was a snippet that's Jim Carrey, who I love, and I love his purpose and meaning more than I ever loved his comedy. So I invite you to listen to this and really hear some of the pearls of wisdom that are part of this. The real you. What is the real you?
I've often said that I wished people could realize all their dreams and wealth and fame, and so that they could see that it's not where you're going to find your sense of completion.
I believe that I had to become a famous, idea.
Yeah.
And get all the stuff that people dream about, and accomplish a bunch of things that that look like success in order to give up my attachment to those things. It's been part of the evolution of ego is to spend your first half of your life acquiring and adding, thinking you can add to yourself, and it looks great. I mean, it looks great when you got a cool car and you got good, nice clothes, and and you've done something that people admire.
When I was about 28, after a decade as a professional comedian, I realized one night in LA that the purpose of my life had always been to free people from concern. Choosing to free people from concern got me to the top of a mountain. Look where I am. Look what I get to do. Everywhere I go. I'm going to get emotional because when I tap into this, it really is extraordinary to me. I did something that made people present their best selves to me wherever I go. I am at the top of the mountain, and I was, and the only one I hadn't freed was myself.
I played the guy that was free from concern so that people who watched me would be free from concern.
And that's when my search for identity deepened. I wondered who I'd be without my fame. Who would I be if I said things that people didn't want to hear?
We don't matter.
You're supposed to say, we're important. You're supposed to say, it's all going to be all right. And you're supposed to say that, whatever you dream can come true. And you're supposed to say all those things. I do believe in manifestation, power of that kind of stuff, but I don't believe that any of it matters. This mattering is to me a human construct.
I used to think Jim Carrey is all that I was. Just a flickering light, a dancing shadow, the great nothing masquerading as something you can name.
I don't exist, so they're all characters that I played, including Jim Carrey, including Joel Barish, including any of those things. They're all characters. Jim Carrey was a less intentional character, because I thought I was just building something that people would like, but it was a character.
Because ultimately, we're not the avatars we create. We're not the pictures on the film stock. We are the light that shines through. All else is just smoke and mirrors, distracting, but not truly compelling.
Everything is divine. There's no thing that isn't divine. Everything is divine, and I'm that. I'm not the body. I'm you guys, and I'm this thing, and I'm this thing, and I'm the cameras, and it doesn't matter to me what's happening on them. Sometimes I still have the groove cut in me that wants my hair to look nice.
Right.
It's an ancient thing. There's still ego there, but I don't. I'm finding that ultimately the freedom from it is something people are kind of hungry for in a way.
Right.
They're like, I don't want to be me either.
Right.
You know, and I go, well, great, because you never have been.
To find real peace, you have to let the armor go. Your need for acceptance can make you invisible in this world. Don't let anything stand in the way of the light that shines through this form. Risk being seen in all of your glory. Our eyes are not viewers, they are also projectors that are running a second story over the picture that we see in front of us all the time. Fear is writing that script, and the working title is, I'll Never Be Enough.
People talk about depression all the time. The difference between depression and sadness is just, you know, from happenstance. Whatever happened or didn't happen for you, or, you know, grief or whatever it is. And depression is your body saying, F you, I don't want to be this character anymore. I don't want to hold up this avatar that you've created in the world. It's too much for me.
Right.
You know? And so a friend of mine who's a spiritual teacher has a really good take. His name is Jeff Foster, and his take on it is that you should think of the word of depressed as deep rest. Deep rest. Your body needs to be depressed. It needs deep rest from the character that you've been trying to play.
Right.
You know, the great and powerful Oz. I'm the great and powerful Oz. How dare you come near me?
This is the voice
Of the ego.
and if you listen to it, there will always be someone who's doing better than you. No matter what you gain, ego will not let you rest. It will tell you that you cannot stop until you've left an indelible mark on the earth, until you've achieved immortality. How tricky is this ego that it would tempt us with the promise of something we already possess?
The happy place is realizing that you're everything, you know, and that there's no real you involved in the first place.
You know, the only thing that separates you from an African American or an African Canadian is an idea, you know, and the weather,
Right.
you know, and the adaptation to the climate, and whatever it is, I don't believe in any of it, and so the feeling of wholeness is a different feeling than meanness.
I believe that peace lies beyond personality, beyond invention and disguise.
You can spend your whole life imagining ghosts, worrying about the pathway to the future, but all there will ever be is what's happening here, and the decisions we make in this moment, which are based in either love or fear. So many of us choose our path out of fear disguised as practicality. What we really want seems impossibly out of reach and ridiculous to expect, so we never dare to ask the universe for it. I'm saying, I'm the proof that you can ask the universe for it. Please.
In case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
That to me was so powerful. There was so many pearls of wisdom in that. And I invite you to look that up on Facebook. I mean, I'm sorry, not Facebook, but it's actually on YouTube. And really be mindful that there's so much good there. Whatever mood you may be in, whatever you feel you need to find, remember that there are things there that you can look for. The real you is what that is called, and you can watch it again if you'd like. And it is amazing. And it is a great reminder. I mean, some of the things that he said in that is that we are not the avatars we create. We are the light that comes through. Think about that. Remembering who and whose you are. You're not the story that you tell or as people told you. And that happens so often that we're raised to believe of who we are. We're told stories that are not, they're barely the beginning of the truth. So we have to remember the truth. We get to choose what that truly looks like. Authenticity requires vulnerability, transparency, and integrity. Vulnerability is that opening up. And as he says, it's being willing to let go of the armor, letting go of the story, and being transparent and integrity. Now, being transparent is being really, what's the meaning behind anything? When I start plotting, or when I try to say, well, if I do this, they can do that. And when I try to do those things in life, I have no peace. To be at peace, it's being my true self. When I am kind to someone, when I am loving, when I do something because it's the right thing to do, I feel good. When there's something more to it, I don't. It's that simple. When we live in a way that we can trust ourselves to be ourselves, it's amazing the change that life shows us. It's so important that we trust ourselves in that way. Brene Brown said, it's easy to see how difficult it is to maintain time for the important things such as creativity, gratitude, joy, authenticity, when we're spending enormous amounts of time and energy conforming and competing. How often do we do that? Do we try to be like someone else? Well, it starts in childhood. Well, your sister did this and your brother got those grades and your sister and this person did that. Who cares what anyone else did? They are not meant to be you. They have nothing that you have. Everyone is different, and unfortunately, we have schools that are set up for grades. So in math, you get this, in reading, you get that, but it doesn't tell us who you are all around. Maybe you're an artist. Maybe you're an actor. Maybe you get along one-on-one with people in a way you have empathy and compassion that no one else does. Be you. It's not about money. And another thing that he had said in that clip is fear disguised as practicality. Think about that. So just be practical. Don't follow your heart. Don't do what you think is the right thing to do. Do what society says because it's being practical. You can't make a living at that. How often do we hear things like that? Of course you can. There is so much good in this universe, and it's up to us to follow that and know that and trust that Spirit as us is doing and able and doing amazing things when we allow it to. Meister Eckhart said, God expects but one thing of you, and that is that you should come out of yourself and let God be God in you. Come out of yourself and let God be God in you. Isn't that beautiful? It's allowing for the most amazing thing to come forth from you. That's what we look at it when we do visioning. We allow Spirit to show us that highest, grandest vision. And when we do it, it's so much bigger than I ever thought would be my life. Spirit's idea is always greater than, because Spirit knows the gifts that were given to you, even the ones you haven't touched yet. So whatever is in your heart, do it, live it, be it. I have a reading from Daily Word from March 6th, 2019. Follow my heart. I am willing to follow my heart. Following my heart may not always be easy. I might feel influenced by other people's needs and expectations. Perhaps I'm discouraged about my progress toward meeting my goals and my fulfilling my dreams. Whenever my life feels daunting, it's important to remember that God is love. Because of this, I am equipped to handle any situation. When I embrace this truth, any shadows of fear and regret fall behind me. I do not need to strain or struggle to make my way. I need only to trust the wisdom of my indwelling Christ Spirit. As I surrender my ego's need for control and certainty, life becomes more comfortable. I joyfully live my soul's truth as it is revealed to me each moment of every day. I am willing to follow my heart. So I invite you to be willing to follow what your heart says and stop and ask. When we have these emotions, if we're not happy, there's something wrong. I also loved what he talked about when it was about depression, the difference between grief and depression. There's a sadness. Sadness happens. Depression, he said, is a deep rest from the character we're trying to play in the world. It's when we've had enough. There's something more. There's something different. We need to remember that the butterfly, the caterpillar completely dies. It literally turns to a liquid goo to become the most magnificent, beautiful butterfly. It lets go of everything it needed to be and trusts that evolution is bringing it to something greater. So I invite you to do just that. Trust that the evolution of your soul is bringing you to something absolutely greater than you've ever known before. There's a wisdom that is within you that knows the true you. Allow it to be birthed. Allow it to take flight. Be that change in the world by showing up as you without any fear or insecurity. Just allow yourself to be free. Don't trade your authenticity for approval. Show up as you and be that amazing, soaring butterfly. Now, maybe you've done that. Maybe you have, and maybe there's times that it hasn't gone well. Well, you know, one thing I've learned is that sometimes the people that raised us, the people that have known us to be a certain way because we were taught to be that way, don't understand who we really are or who we were meant to be. They know a part of us, and we can love them and honor them, but we also have to honor ourselves. It's not about making other people happy. We are here to be that joy in the world, to allow that light to shine. And when we're not authentic, it is not shining. So I'm going to invite you to listen to these words and know that spirit is alive in you, that there is something that you are here to do that the world needs from the individualized expression that is you. And ask that, what is spirit's vision alive in me right here and right now?
Shining bright through us right here. Spirit, you're the love in us, reaching out with every touch. Spirit, you're the voice in us, rising up beyond a hush. Yeah. We feel it, we feel it. Yeah. We see it. Believe it, it's spirit. Spirit, you're the breath in us, breathing all of us right here. shining bright through us right here. Spirit, you're the love in us, reaching out with every touch. Spirit, you're the voice in us, rising up beyond a hush. Yeah, we feel it, we feel it. Yeah, we see it, believe it, it's Spirit. Spirit, you're the breath in us, breathing all of us right here. Spirit, you're the grace in us, calming every fear right here. Spirit, you're the peace in us, spreading out across the world. Spirit, you're the power in us, flying like a flag unfurled. Yeah, we feel it, we feel it. We see it, believe it, it's Spirit. Spirit, you're alive in us, you're alive in us right here. Spirit, you're the light in us, shining bright through us right here. Spirit, you're the love in us, reaching out with every touch. Spirit, you're the voice in us, rising up beyond a hush. Yeah, we feel it, we feel it. We see it, believe it. We feel it, we feel it, we feel it, we feel it. We see it, believe it, it's Spirit. We see it, believe it, it's Spirit. See it, believe it, it's Spirit.
Spirit is alive in you right here and right now. And that's why we are here. Our purpose is to align with that calling within us. Are you listening? Are you paying attention? Are you being that allness? I'd like to read you a poem that I wrote called Love Letter from Spirit. And yes, it was inspired by this thing called You, the book. You are my beloved. No greater purpose could ever be. You, as my creation, are the embodiment of love. What else could you be? I gave you life because you're worthy. No great, my deepest blessing in every breath for thee. You use my mind. Your free will sets your own path. Both in pain and blessing, you are free. You are as close as your breath to me. Energy in atoms and physical form, all me. Freely to use as you choose, although not always consciously. I love you, my child, and I offer you the world to see. I create in abundance and for you, and it's all free. So remember how much I love you, my child, and hold you lovingly. For I will never forsake you, and ever will I embrace you, but only when you come to me. So in any moment that we feel something lacking, in any moment that things don't seem to be how we would choose them to be we don't understand. We can go back to spirit. We can go within. We can get those answers. We can realign with the truth of who we really are. What does that look like? What does that feel like? I have known people I've worked with as a life coach that were all different ages. I've had people in their 20s that knew what they wanted from life, and I've worked with people in their 60s that had no idea, that wondered, is this what it's all about? Is this all there is? And the answer is always no. One of the people that I consider role models, and I don't have a whole lot of them, but Louise Hay was definitely one of them. In her 90s, she was still doing pull-ups every day on her, in her bathroom. She was tell the story about having a bar across her bathroom doorway that she could do pull-ups on, chin-ups on. And she had messages that she put those little post-its and messages all over her bathroom to remind herself of her truth. She wasn't raised that way. She actually was raised very, very poorly, and eventually raised after being basically ending up pregnant as a result of being molested. She ran away and started a different life. And again, that life wasn't what she would want it to be. And again, she needed to start over again. This woman came from the darkest of places and grew herself to be who she was meant to be. She knew her light, and everyone around her could see it. And I don't need to be anything like her. I don't need to be like anyone. When I say a role model, the inspiration for me is she became her authentic self, regardless of what she was taught as a child. She didn't feel worthy. She came to understand who she was. And she kept learning. In her 90s, she learned how to ballroom dance, and she became an artist. She kept learning. And that's what keeps us young. When we keep learning, when we keep living and experiencing new things, that's what life is all about. It's supposed to be a daring adventure, not a comfort zone. It's about being out of that comfort zone. Authenticity is knowing who you are and being brave enough to live it. What does that look like for you? It's not about being mean in the way we treat anyone. It's not about ever disrespecting anyone else. It's about our choices. And sometimes that takes having boundaries and understanding that it's not going to look like anybody else, and it's not supposed to. But when we are in that place of spirit, when we let go of everything else, amazing things happen. Gary Zukov said in The Seat of the Soul, when you depend entirely upon the ability of your personality to determine what is best for you, you may stand in the way of a richness that is waiting for you. How do you know what the universe has waiting for you if you take off your restrictions? The universe cannot help you in the same way that it can if you are trusting it. Let go of what you think is just reward. Let go. Trust. Create. Be who you are. The rest is up to your non-physical teachers and the universe. Love that. Be who you are and leave the rest to spirit. When we do that, when we really authentically allow ourselves to be our greatest selves, amazing things happen. For me, I never had an intention of ministerial school. Absolutely not. I would never think of that. But yet everything in my life led me to this. I was at the church that I was raised in this weekend. And a lot of emotions came up, a lot of gratitude. While I don't have the same beliefs I used to, I'm so grateful that my spirituality began there. There's no againstness when I'm in that church. What was there was a gratitude, because that's where my seeds of closeness with spirit were planted and fostered. That's where I went every week to talk to spirit. As I got older, I realized things in a different way, but it doesn't diminish where I began. And it doesn't mean that one is right and one is wrong, but I trust myself more now. And I still have those thoughts, as many of us do. Well, what if I fail? What if I'm not meant? What if? The fears, doubts, the insecurities. Everyone has them. But we can let them go away like the mist in the morning. Let that sun shine through and allow ourselves to be that light. Because with that authenticity, with that acceptance of who we really are, comes peace. Until I know who I am, I cannot be at peace with myself. Till I'm acting in an authentic way, I can't be at peace with myself. Think about when you've been in a situation where people may say something that you don't agree with. There's not an inner peace there. There's something in you that knows. It could be a poor, basically a lousy joke that you don't agree with. There's something in you that is really upset by that. Or at least it does for me. I need to speak my truth and say how I feel. Not in an against way, but just just not be around that anymore. If that's the way someone is, then I have to look at it as that may be their selves. Maybe that person doesn't fit with who I am. And not in an against way, just in a different way. Life is meant to be lived in color. And there's many of them. So what that looks like for you is going to be different than other people. And it's okay, because when certain people aren't around, other people step in. We're meant to live in this life that is growing bigger and bigger. And the question is, are you allowing it to? Are you allowing your best life? Roger Teal said, before all else, each of us must take a fundamental risk. Be our true selves. Who is your true self? What are you here for? What makes you joy-filled? Maybe music is what makes your heart sing. Or maybe, for me, music can take me out of one mood and put me in another. Spiritual practices can do the same thing. It's trusting yourself and allowing that still small voice to be louder than the outside noise of society. Do not conform to anybody else's mold of you. Only you know that. It's up to you to fill that choice of mold. You create it. And if someone else has, break out of it. Know who and whose you are. And when you do, amazing things happen. Spirit as you is magnificent. And the last reading I have for tonight that I wanted to share is that I am one with life. And it's from Creative Ideas by Ernest Holmes. There is one God, and out of this oneness proceeds all that really is. Wonderful indeed is the concept of the union of all life, which Jesus proclaimed, I and my Father are one. All cause and all effect proceed from the invisible spirit. So that spirit within you. Each person is one with spirit and cannot be separated from it. Our word has power because our word is the action of God through our thought. This power is we use it. We do not have to create it. Let us seek to use the divine nature more generously with a greater idea of God's beneficence and understand that it is available to us. And the prayer is, regardless of what my problem may be or in what direction I need guidance, I know that today I walk in a full understanding of my oneness with God. God is at the center of my being. And from this center, I receive inspiration which governs my every thought and every action with certainty, love, and peace. My guidance is assured as I accept the all-knowing creative action of God through what I am. I know exactly what to do and how to do it for the establishing of right action for myself and all concerned in my life. God has no problems. And I, as I am an expression of this creation of God, all difficulties are now removed from my experience. So from that place of knowing this, that the difficulties are removed, knowing that Spirit as me, as each one, is in that space of wholeness, perfection, and allness, creativity, joy, expansion. I invite you to allow Spirit as you to be that magnificence. You are a one of a kind, a beautiful mosaic. And while you look at any tile in a mosaic, you have no idea what it's going to become. If you do not use every skill you have, you'll never know how beautiful the picture of your life could have become. Allow Spirit to light the world up through you. Take those chances. Be bold. Be in that place of divine. Expect miracles. Light up and be the real you. The world needs that. Without any question, the world needs you. So knowing that, I am so grateful for your spending your time with me this evening. Thank you for being here on New Thought Media Network with me. Know that if you've been blessed by anything that's said here, we are here because of people like you. If you have any questions or any comments, you can reach out to info@ntmedia.org. And if you wanted to reach me, you're welcome to do that as well. I am at Gina@believeInYouToday.com. You can email me or you can look me up on Facebook, either myself or through CSL Greater Boston. Know that we are here on this network because of people like you. So please go to ntmedia.org to donate. Know that Spirit as you has amazing things that are going to unfold. And I wish you an incredible week. Spend some time remembering the power that you are, the light, the joy that you are. Celebrate it. Be that individualized expression. Be authentically you. Give yourself permission. And I promise you, with that comes all the peace you can imagine. Blessings and love. May your week be absolutely magnificent. And may you, above all else, may you be shining. Namaste.